Okay, so we're currently not at war. Am I done playing the troop war game? I didn't want to be. I want to play it some more, but it's. And welcome back, Cicero. I need more time. I don't know what I need to do. I have too many games to play and just not enough time to do it. It just because there's games I really want to play, and there's just not enough time to play them all, at least adequately, right? So that's the issue. I want to play the troops some more because I actually did enjoy it. Um, and was it yesterday? Yesterday I did the wheel of games to determine what games I was going to play yesterday, and the troop was one of them on the wheel. So it just didn't win. Who won? Starfield won yesterday. So I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe I need to start splitting up streams. I'm not real fond of that though. Just like do 3 hours of one game and 3 hours of another. That really messes with my brain when I do that stuff. Hoping to see more gameplay before you decide to buy it or not. Yeah, I understand that. Because I'd like to, I just want to play some more of it just to see what else is going to be happening. Because the campaign stuff looks like it's going to be interesting. So, but yeah, I need to stream it some more. Like I said, it's just, I think we're spoiled for the last few years because game development was so slow compared to what it is like now. Where games are just coming out, bam, 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 2 or 3 games a week, and you're just like, ugh, I don't have time to play them all. And I think the whole COVID thing, slowed down production and gave you actually time to play games, more than a day or two before you have to move on to the next one. So, but first world problems. I don't think it gets worse than that. And but yeah, like I said, I'm open to ideas. But I'm, like I said, splitting the stream into 3-hour chunks because I do 6-hour streams Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. And I don't know if I can do 3 hours of a game and then switch to another one. I've done it before, but it always feels really weird to me. Yes, and it's all the games are coming out now. Well, they started a few months ago, actually. Back in around, July? July is when they start coming out a little bit faster than normal, and now they're just boom, boom, boom. They just keep coming out, and it's just like, so. And of course, the funny, and this is a streamer thing, is, in order to get keys for games, to review games and play them and stuff, it was, before COVID, or even during COVID, there was not a whole lot of, you had to have a minimum number of viewers on average and stuff, and the numbers weren't too terribly high. They're actually fairly easy to get for beginning streamers. But now that there's games coming out so fast and stuff, for some reason the publishers and developers think that it's okay to bump up the minimum viewing requirement to apply for keys now. And I'm thinking, this is not the way you're supposed to do it. When there's mass competition out there to get your product seen by people, you don't really want to make it harder for streamers to get access to your stuff, because you need as much exposure as you can get. And by increasing, the requirements to get a key for a game, you're hurting yourself. I don't think they understand that yet, but smaller streamers bring in sales too. Maybe not as much as the big guys do, but even the smaller streamers bring in stuff. And bumping up the minimum requirements to get a key is not smart. And I wish I would go back to a couple of years back when it was more reasonable and that kind of stuff. And they don't get these crazy ideas that, you have to be averaging 100 viewers or something to get a key. That's crazy. It used to be down 10 to 20 usually is what it is. Or was, but now they've bumped it up to 50 plus. It's like, what the hell are you people thinking? There's not that many people with that kind of numbers. So, plus spread of word for mouth out there. Exactly. I could hurt a bunch of, I mean, I know I don't have a lot of people paying attention to me, but, I can hurt game sales and stuff just by mentioning developers who are doing this bullshit stuff, that they bumped up their requirements to get keys. And it's like, why are you guys doing that? I mean, I could start naming people, and I imagine it might turn some people off towards them. But, I'm pretty good about, and it's not the big publishers either. I'm not talking about like Baldur's Gate and Starfield and those guys. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the smaller developers, independent people. They're being way too picky. and I don't understand why, because they're the ones that have the most competition. Like, there's no real competition for Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3. They got big publishing companies and advertising, firms behind them to get the name out. The small developers don't. So I don't know what they're doing by bumping up the requirements and stuff and being pickier of who they give keys to. It makes no sense. Because, like I said, even small streamers make sales. So, but anyway. Just a pet peeve. Just a pet peeve. Oh, and for the record, this game was a key that was given to me by a publishing house that was, working with Creative Assembly. So again, I know I don't say it all the time, but this particular game was given to, key was given to me. So I need to say that more often so you guys know that. But again, yeah. Sometimes you see this kind of dumb move where it's more like an angry reaction than a thoughtful decision. Probably sick to grifters claiming to have followers. But the thing is, Tiger, is that stuff is all really easy to find out, because usually when you apply to get a key and stuff, you have to have your Twitch account and YouTube and all this other stuff connected to your account that you're using to get the key, because you usually have to go to a website to get the stuff. And part of that process is linking your YouTube and social accounts and Twitch and stuff. So when they're doing when they see a key come in or a key request come in, they can see those numbers. Well, that's their job, though. That's the job. That's their job to do that. They do that no matter what you do. I mean, if you don't give them your information, they're going to go, okay, how many viewers do you have? And they're going to say, okay, this is my website or this is my page, that kind of stuff. You have to provide that stuff. They don't give keys out to anybody. They really don't. Pre-filtered by a bot. Most companies have a community manager of some kind, unless they're really, really small. And if they are, they're using a service that gives out the keys where all that information is pre-done for them. It's kind of like a bot, right? You put in your application and it pops up on their screen and it tells them whether you got the numbers or not, or what your numbers are. But yeah, still, somebody's got to do it by hand. You have to do is read the business section of the newspaper to see that people with money and power make dumb decisions. Well, we know that. Also, maybe a knee-jerk reaction to the layoffs and game devs shutting down around the world. I don't think it's quite that. Investigating the claims, it wouldn't matter how many followers they were asking for. True. I've done resume filtering. I generally look for buzzwords in their resume and filter by that. Well, the thing is, again, the sites we go to apply for keys, it's not really a resume. It's honestly, what's your Twitch page, what's your YouTube page, what's your social media, and that's what they're looking at. And right on your screen, it tells you, what your average viewing is, what your average views for videos on YouTube are, how many followers and stuff you have on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. But again, when we're applying for keys, it's usually, in most cases, it's just click a button. In all honesty, you have your profile set up and you just go in, apply, or request key is, it's basically just an apply button. Just apply for that one, apply for that one, apply for that one, and it goes out to the particular developer, and they get to choose whether they want to accept your application or not. And it's really not really an application; it's just numbers. You don't have to type anything in. Every now and then, these companies won't participate in those sites, and you do actually have to go to them directly and send emails and that kind of stuff, which I've done a few times, but it's kind of annoying because it's not the way it's done anymore. In all honesty, that's not how it's done. It's all more automated, so you don't have to write emails. And also, with a lot of the developers now, is you don't know, unless you do some background research on them, are they an English-speaking company like I am, or are they somewhere over in Asia, or are they in Europe and they don't speak English so well over there more? Are they going to even understand if I write a full-blown email with explaining stuff? Are they going to even understand that, or are they even going to read it? So companies that don't use the services out there to get their products out there to all the different streamers is kind of sketchy to me. When a dev doesn't use those services, I kind of question what they're doing. So there's that too. So I have my own suspicions sometimes. There are apps out there that filter the info. I mean, my mom works in social media advertising. I remember her talking about this thing called Clout. Oh yeah, Clout. That people's numbers based on their social media presence. Yep, I remember that stuff. Google Translate says that you have insulted that person's mom. Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. That's why I don't usually do if I have to write an email to a company, I have to double check to make sure that that English is their first language before I start sending emails. And if it's not, I don't. Because I actually did send an email to a company that was not English first, and there was some confusion. So I don't do that anymore. So anyway, I'm supposed to be playing a game, not talking about stuff. My problems as a streamer. And how hard it is to get, free stuff. Dev shows up on your stream like the other night, and it's all the better. That's awesome. There's when the dev for Dark Envoy showed up on the stream on Monday. I was not expecting that, and they actually had a publishing company, or was it their actual PR department? I don't remember exactly who I dealt with, but I think it might have been their PR department. And, they sent me an email a couple of weeks back and go, hey, are you interested in taking a look at this? And the English is really well done. And I was surprised when the dev said that they were Polish. They were a Polish development company. I was surprised at that because the interactions I had beforehand, no indication. Maybe their PR person is an English speaker, native. But I had no issues with communicating with them, which was good. And then when the dev showed up, and then find out that he's Polish and he's showing up at, 9-10 o'clock at night for him. So I thought that was pretty cool too. But it's always nice when a dev pops into your channel when you're streaming their game. Yeah, that's pretty good. Everyone under 40 in Europe speaks good English in your experience. Everyone under 40. I don't know. I don't really have that much interaction with No, I take that back. I do, don't I? And most under 50. Non-British Europeans, English stuff. The only ones that I have a regular interaction with these days are Germans. And they all speak English really well for the most part. And let's see, we have one person from Spain. His English is way better than my Spanish, so I'm good with that. We've had a couple of French people in that you can't really tell that they're French because their English is really good. And of course we have, the Polish guy whose English is exceptional. So, and then we have Ring. Ring is the misplaced Romanian, and his English is exceptional too. At least they're written English. I haven't heard I've only heard the Germans really speak, and Kalfak, who's Spanish. And their English is fine. I mean, they're understandable. But I'm still curious to hear Vukruls and Ring speak English, because they don't want to come. They don't want to come on Discord because they're afraid of what they're going to sound like. And I really want to hear their voices one of these days. Not to make fun of them, just get to hear their accents. So they're monolingual people and linguists in Europe, but you don't meet them very often. Yeah, it's like my interactions with the Europeans, again, is pretty much strictly through, here on Twitch. Like I said, Germans are the only ones that I really hear though. Obviously, Canadians and, English and stuff, and Scottish and Irish, we hear them from time to time. But for the most part, it's with the different accents, it's the Germans that we hear the most. And that's basically what Katger and Hurricane, and they speak English fine. He's both all over here trying to get away from the home. Working in the kind of jobs where you would encounter them. You run into them eventually. Anyway, let me get back to playing the game. Because I have no problem talking about this stuff all day, but we're here to play this. Okay, so what was I doing? Outposts. So we're building up stone to build more buildings. So we don't want to build any of this stuff. Garrisons.
I will do great things.
And we also have army parked here in Kerma to get our happiness up a little bit. Because it's really... I don't know how it got so negative. What was I doing? It's because of the idle workforce, I think. And our civilization is slowly dropping. But I think we're okay. That stuff. Okay, we're good. What do you want? So you want 48 bronze for 9 turns in exchange for food. Not opposed to that. New Year. And our civilization prospers, fertility in Yamad. There's times of growth in Yamad. Where's that? That's not us. That's not even close to us. And our tier went down again? Wow, what's your why is it dropping so much? I don't know why our... Oh, it's because we don't actually have temples. I think that's the issue, is the temples, which we're building now. Oh, look, the high priest has lost his spot. I wonder what happened there. We were successful. We got lucky. Okay, so position benefits. Competitors, that's okay. Claim position. This will require 450 gold, which we have 883. So that is us. Confirm. Okay, so the reason we wanted this was exactly the reason, one of the reasons is because we're tired of our general not being devoted to the moon anymore. And it's because, well, by taking this position, we have more favor with worship deities, especially a moon. Ta-da. Lower costs on shrines and temples, and visit sacred Egyptian lands with temples for gold. And then legitimacy is increased by 14. So that's going to be us. Now we just have to protect ourselves in this spot for a while, for as long as we can. And now we're also in position to maybe become Pharaoh too, because you can only occupy a spot above you from the level below. So only from these 2 spots can become Pharaoh. My understanding of how that works, at least. That's us.
Ever wise.
So now he should be higher. Oh, look at that. So, remember, at the start of the turn, we were just under level 2. By becoming High Priest, we're almost to level 3. Seems right. Seems totally legitimate to do that kind of stuff. Anyway. Devote you.
Grant me your blessings.
Okay. And being devoted gives him bonuses. So melee damage, speed, and XP, and if we can get up to level 3, the bonuses go up even higher. So go us. Okay, so that plan completed. Outpost construction stuff, we're at 678 stone. You know, this one. This is a matter of just saving up a little bit more stone and get 715 so we can actually spend 200 gold on some, or 200 stone on building stuff if we want. This is happiness, right? Let's increase happiness from 2 to 4, plus 2 to plus 4. Much stone? 550 stone is too much, so we have to save up for that. So not you. And now the temple to Amun's already been built. Upgrading it will cost another 245, so we can actually do that. And that increases our favor from plus 90 to plus 140, so 50-point pickup, plus the legitimacy as well, and upkeep reduction of armies in the province, and increases happiness, and production of all resources too. So, yes please. Producing, gold. Gold. Okay, so that's good. Yeah, of course. Oh, we still have 400. No, we want to not spend any more stone. So we're good there. Good. Building, that's done. Court machinations, that was us. And devoted to, there we go. So we're all set. We're good. Why is my air conditioner on? It's not hot outside. What the hell? You stopped listening at gold? Well, I didn't really say anything much after gold. We produce a fair amount of gold. Construct a resource type building producing gold. We have 6 turns left. I thought we were building a building for that, though. Wasn't it? That's bronze. This is a goldsmith. This doesn't actually produce gold. It just increases the production of gold that we have. Oh, here we go. So one more turn in this building will be complete, and that'll complete our ambition. And then we get gold mining effort for 10 turns, which increases our gold by 20% for 10 turns. Reduces happiness faction-wide. They'll be fine. They'll get over it. Next turn. This guy. These suckers haven't discovered the fiat currency yet? Why? You don't need that when you have gold. Ambition fulfilled. So, gold production increased. Guiding hand. So, last thing I'm sure of is desires. I would ask that you remain idle until I have concluded my business. Of course, you shall be financially compensated for the loss of any alliance you might otherwise have had your heart set upon. So, start a discredit plot against the treasurer. And I get 50 gold. No, we like the treasurer. He's our friend. Sort of. Yeah, he's kind of our friend. So somebody's taken over a viceroy. The viceroy is good for mercenaries and free gold every turn. So we want to make friends with him. Gossip. And then
Egypt stands stronger.
You can only do it.
Children are united.
Yeah. Once a year you can make this request to basically get 200 gold. And all it costs you is 60 regard, which is 3 gossip sessions. That's no big deal. Although using precious metals as currency is kind of wasteful. Every time the coin changes hands, some of the metal is worn away and lost. On the other hand, it tends to limit inflation. Coin changes hands, some of the metal is worn away and lost. I never quite understood the point of using precious metal as money anyway. Because for exactly that reason. Is you have to anytime the leadership changes, you have to melt down the coins and change the stuff, which is, I mean, you're creating jobs that way, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. So you're Spain and you have so much of it that it becomes worthless. Well, that was their own fault. That was their own fault for that one. Guiding hand, that's that. That's rises. A new enemy rises. Sea peoples invade our land. Well, they're way, way, way too far away. They didn't generally melt down old coins, but they should have. Well, they could have. But they had to create new coins, right? For the new faces. So many of the ancient rulers, one of the first things was to remint coins because it also reset the coins to their expected weight and value. There you go, too. Silver was popular. It will get icky. Not sure why silver was popular. It will get icky. Silver is popular because it's silver. It's shiny. Roman coins were used for something like 200 years, but were they precious metals? Were they... See, that's the question, is were they actually precious metals? Were they used for that long? Yes, silver does tarnish if you don't clean it on a regular basis. Correct. That's why it was considered inferior to gold and platinum. Platinum, very unusual to be used as a coin, though. Because it's rare. It's hard to find. Depends on the era in Rome. Some were iron. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is in Rome, I don't think they went a lot of gold coins, did they? Yeah, bronze is probably better for coins than most other metals because it's fairly cheap. Because it's what? Bronze is copper and tin, right? Those metals are pretty easy to work with, from what I understand. And the first to introduce adjusted values for their main currency, the talent to account for fluctuations in availability as well as local prices. Gold coins were mostly used by the rulers for straight trades. Well, yeah, day to day would be suicide. Need silver and gold. Gold for the big trades. Question mark. I mean ransoms. Common people use base metal coins. Rich people use silver. Governments use gold. Which is pretty much the way it is today, too, isn't it? But we don't actually, use gold as a currency too much anymore. It just backs up currency somewhat. Not really anymore, right? Or does it? Gold's not used to back up any currencies in the world anymore, is it? Barter's agreements have expired. New pretender rises. Bill needs stuff. I'm supposed to be saving up my stuff. Oh, I'm looking at... Oh, our trade is going with our food. Yeah, I know in the United States it's not. I have a feeling once the United States moved away from it, a lot of other countries did too. You can always buy gold in England. Yes, you can. It's expensive to hold. Why is it expensive to hold? I mean, other than people trying to steal it, I mean, why would you say it's expensive to hold? Let's buy the paper for your own gold. You have to pay for security and so. Okay, that's so. Yeah. Yeah, because people are trying to steal it from you. Because, bastards. Ran out of gold when the then Chancellor decided to sell off the gold reserves when the price was at a minimum. Smart move. Smart move. So barters. Manage the visibility. So hide show. I want to see all these. I want them to stay here all the time, though. Like these guys. If I pick one of these, the other one, this whole thing disappears. They need to fix that.
Mine eye proud people. We won't be taken advantage of.
Okay, so his problem. He has an abundance of gold now, so he doesn't want 83 gold to turn. So instead, he wants a city. How about you bite me? And I need more food, but he does a shortage on food. So I will take bronze instead. But he doesn't want gold anymore. He wants food and lumber. I don't have an abundance of either one of those. So maybe he will take gold. He will take gold still. It's not as much. There we go. So we'll take 100 bronze for 37 gold for 10 turns. Works for me.
Yes, it seems fair.
You don't need to buy physical gold? No, you don't. There's different ways of getting it. But the problem with not buying the physical gold is you don't actually have it in your possession. And if the other ways, what the EFTs, equity funded trade or whatever they're called, if that goes out, you're out of your money too. That's the downside. The plus side is you don't actually have to worry about securing the gold. It's a different type of risk, but there's still a risk there. Owning a couple of bars of gold in your living room, keeping them in your living room is probably a better bet. Just saying. Just don't tell anybody it's there. Just use it to prop up your coffee table or something, and just go, oh, that's just bronze. Nobody will know the difference. Door stops. Nobody will notice. You can always spray paint it different colors too to match your little interior that you got going on. You need to pay something like 15% in fees for each trade. It depends on where you're getting it from, probably, I would think. And of course, you got to pay market value for it too. So just think about it. Just think about it. Okay, so I need to talk to somebody else about getting some food. Who wants to trade food with me? Who's got a good supply? Not a lot. Losset does. I think we lost our thing with them.
Warrior of Egypt.
You're a pretender. I bet you can give me food, though.
I have no doubt we will reach an agreement.
Neither. So, food. I need... Wow, I'm negative 600 food. 500? Short supply of gold, lumber, stone. So, gold. Wow. Okay, so 100 gold a turn. 500 food. I bet I can squeeze 1,000 food out of you. I can almost squeeze 1,000 food out of you. 750? There we go. 850? Wow. 950 gold a turn for 100 gold for 10 turns. That'll give me a nice little plus 300 or so. Little over. I've got an abundance of gold. I don't know if you noticed that.
We have reached an accord.
That little, couple little things we do to boost our gold income for like 10 turns or so is really paying off. Okay, so more stone. Okay, this was for food. I think we're okay on food for now. What about stone? Who wants to be my friend in stone? Kawa, there we
The
go.
fire of Nubia.
Got abundant stones. I bet we can get some more out of them.
I foresee good things will come of this.
I hope so. 500, and he is a little short on gold, not too much. Short on bronze and food. We got a good bronze supply, too. See how he feels about the gold. 1550. I can live with that. Wow. For 10 turns he likes this deal. I want him to be happy about this. I think we can live with that.
Just as I had hoped.
It's a lot of stone per turn now, which we need because we're building stuff. So, okay, so that. Anybody else? A new viceroy. Oh, when did that happen? Oh, that's right. This is the new guy. Never mind. We're good. Because they were taking my spot. Because I moved it up to high priest. Settlement upgrade. Kurma. It's Kurma. So we're going to upgrade our residence. It'll open up a slot for a temple, which will make a moon that much happier. And we've got 100 stone left, so not much to do. Or not enough stone to do anything else, so we're okay. Outpost construction. Shrine. Trading post. We could build a shrine like that. We should build a monument here to get some legitimacy. Out in the middle of the desert. That's got to be legit. Totally. Who would think that's legitimacy if you build it out in the middle of the desert?
Viceroy of Kush.
Happiness is not going up anymore. We should be +2. What's the deal? Taxes, idle workforce, and other. Oh, we have the other thing. We don't have an idle. Oh, we just did something. Oh, that's right. We just started a new workforce. So that -2 is going to go away. It should be going to a nice 0. Oh, it's actually going to go to a +2. So we should be picking up happiness next turn. Okay, I think we're good. Pillars of Civilization still hovering at 480. But Amun likes us. 490. Like that. Next turn. Did you guys hear that? That little popping sound? If you heard little popping sounds just there, that's the sound my fingers make when I not crack them, but extend them. It's the opposite of cracking. When I extend my fingers. You didn't hear them? Okay. It wasn't close enough to the mic, I guess. It sounded really loud to me. My fingers make these, when they get stiff, they get a stiff feeling to them, and I flex them and they pop. It's like an opposite of a cracking your knuckles type deal. But I guess it's kind of similar. Is it? No, cracking your knuckles is when you squeeze your hands, right? Yeah, this is when I'm expanding the hands and they pop. Mrs. Gimpy thinks my body is funny because of all the noises it makes. between the laughing and going, ew. No, it's not from MS. No. The hand thing is actually it's more from using computers for 40 years, over 40 years. That's really what it's from. And that's another, so Thomas Rat and Last Rat, whatever. So tempo level 2 for Amun is done. Drake Crane, respectful. Oh, what's this? Happiness plus 3 in this province where he is, so that's good. Repetitive strain stiff? Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I was actually diagnosed with repetitive stress injuries in both my hands back in 1998. After, was it my right hand? I think it was my right hand. On my right hand, I had numbness and tingliness in my small and ring finger while I was working. And it was, and I was typing away, and all of a sudden, boom, it just went shooting through both fingers. I got up. As soon as it happened, I went to my boss, and I went, my fingers just went numb and tingling. What should I do? He just looked at me. And he went, he goes, go report to, I was at employee health, and we'll get the work comp started. And this was before, ergonomics was really a huge thing. It was just starting to become a really big thing in the late 90s. And because of me, everybody in the office areas got, ergonomic chairs, keyboard trays, more ergonomic stuff. Everybody's workstations were evaluated, got the appropriate equipment, everything stuff. And I got a 6-week vacation. So that was good. Mine is, for me, they were kind of concerned that it was going to be carpal tunnel in my hands, but it wasn't. I didn't actually have carpal tunnel. But it's still a repetitive stress injury, but goes from my, instead of going through because carpal tunnel goes through your palm, because that's where your carpal tunnel is. It's usually where the tendons and ligaments get pressure, they're inflamed and stuff like that. Well, in mine, it's actually the top. And it runs all the way up through my forearms, up to my elbow, and a little below too. Actually, it runs from the top of my hand all the way up to where my elbow is, and then also my forearm. It kind of like comes down where the inflammation and stuff was. It came down from the top of the hand and goes down towards my wrist, and then makes a nice little turn and goes back to my elbow, because you have a big tendon that runs in that direction. And I had to go through occupational therapy for 6 weeks, and which means I had to see an occupational therapist 3 times a week or whatever it was. And she'd basically come in, show me the exercises, do icing and stuff. But one of the things she had to do was massage my forearms to loosen them up, because she goes, your forearms are really tight. And she actually touched the tendon that runs, down towards the elbow, and she goes, holy shit, it feels like it's steel. You're not supposed to be like that. So you have to do that kind of stuff, but it's fun. Yeah. His poor desk height. Yes, a lot of it is. Desk height is very important. Taking breaks is important. Stretching, it's taking breaks. It's all important. Issue since you changed the height adjustable desk. It's officially Gimpy Man of Steel. I wish. But no, I still do, even though I sit in front of a computer, all day, well, good 6 to 8 hours a day still, but I'm not as intense on the keyboard as I was back in the 90s, because I did a lot of data entry type stuff. And so that's what the real issue was. And it was proper or improper stuff. It was improper ergonomics, and that's really what it was. Left arm and hand. Yeah, for me, it's both arms or both hands and stuff. And then when I was diagnosed with MS, going to a neurologist and stuff, and I would ask, no, it's one some because even though I know I had the injuries in there, they're still there. I mean, they've never gone away. Their repetitive stress injury is still there. But every now and then, my left hand will go numb too. And I would ask my neurologist, I go, so what do you think this is? Do you think this is from using a computer all the time on my left hand, or is it MS? And he said, it could be either or it could be both. And, he says, and there's no real way to tell, because the test that he would run would be the same for either MS or repetitive stress injury, because it's an electrical, some type of test is basically they put little electrodes at the tip of your fingers and they put it basically up to your shoulder and they run electric current through it and they measure it. And if it's MS, it's nerve damage, right? And if it's repetitive stress injury, it's nerve damage. So it's going to show up the same way either way. He said, there's no point in doing anything. It's that there's a problem. The thing is what are you going to do to stop it? If you stop using a computer so much, that might help, but it might not if it's MS. Because so it's anyway. So. And you're pretty much right hand on the mouse doing 12 hours a day. Yeah. Well, that was for me. I had actually started using the thumb ball for the mouse back in the early 90s, I think 92, 94, something like that. And mainly the reason I started using those was because using a regular mouse was screwing with my shoulder too much. Because when I was younger, back in high school and stuff, when I was weightlifting, I fucked up my shoulder a little bit. And I noticed that when I use mice, that the minor movements, because when you use a mouse, you're moving your arm and stuff, but not a whole lot. And because of the injury, I could really feel it. And as I began to use computers more and more, it got worse and worse. And so I've discovered thumb balls or track balls, whatever you want to call them. But in this case, specifically a thumb ball, which is a track ball used with your thumb. And I've been using those since the 90s, early 90s, and it helps a lot. I can't even use a regular mouse anymore. Well, I can, but it's painful. Because it's just that little bit of movement in my shoulders is painful. And of course, the hand thing doesn't help either. A lot of bad mice, yes. Started working from home, your RSA has dissipated. Yeah, mine hasn't gotten worse. Let's put it that way. I don't know if it's dissipated, it hasn't gotten worse. But I'm also doing like regular exercise. I even do ice baths on my hands from time to time. Usually during the summer, not so much during the winter, but during the summer, I'll actually do ice baths for my hands where I just stick my hand, get a nice big bowl, put some water and ice in there, and just stick my hands in there for 20 minutes. And hopefully, they don't get frostbite. But it helps a lot to do that. Not using whatever cheap crap the customer left you with. There you go. Yeah, that's a thing too. Is I remember doing when I was doing working for a real person or a real company and stuff, and having to do before I was diagnosed with MS, you have to go out and do stuff. Go out and do jobs remotely and whatever at different locations and stuff. And the equipment was like, ugh, it was horrible. Between non-ergonomics and just the crappy equipment in general, it's horrible. How these people work, I have no idea. Anyway. Expired barters.
You have changed since our youth. In a good way, I believe.
Have I? Okay, so we're offering... So this is for food. So... Oh, this is not good for her. Why? She's got abundant stone. Oh, she's short supply on food. That's why she doesn't want to do this anymore. Well, that's going to hurt me. How about 150 food? She's abundant in gold and all this, so she's short on bronze. So bronze. 25? 50? 40? 45. That's too high still. 42. Okay, so 10 turns. We'll give her 42 bronze. And she'll give us 150 food. It's not the best, but we want to keep her on our list of stuff because we want to be friends.
This will be beneficial in...
And we already have a non-agreement pact with their military access is still far away, it looks like. So that's okay. Oh, I lost another contract though, didn't I? And court action. So what am I doing? Oh, we're trying to make friends with the Viceroy so we can get free gold every year. Gossip.
You thrive here, at the very heart of civilization.
Sure I do. There's a point where Dell stopped using Logitech and moves to some other... Shit, they were horrible. It's a bad UI design. PTC Wildfire 2 was click an icon on the border, click on the middle, rinse and repeat. That version of Pro Engineer was literal torture to use. Yeah, they just don't think. It was funny. It wasn't funny, but the program we're using for those of you who don't know, my previous life, I used to work in the healthcare industry, and I didn't do patient care stuff, and I didn't do patient records and stuff like that. I worked on the facility side, which is the maintenance and security and housekeeping type stuff. I worked for those departments. And one of my responsibilities, I was a data administrator for our program that we use for equipment maintenance, and a lot of data entry, blah blah blah. And what was I going to say now? Oh, when the vendor, the company that makes the program, when we first started using it in the early 90s, it was DOS based, and then we moved to Windows back in mid 90s, late 90s, somewhere around there. I forget where it was, but one of the biggest features that we demanded be included was, because it was moving to Windows, and everybody, with Windows, you use a mouse and stuff. He said, we don't want to have to use a mouse at all in order to do data entry. We want to be able to do everything from the keyboard. So, and that really cleaned up the UI design, because everything, tab, because we were so used to using tab to move through fields and stuff. And so we actually got to, exert our will on the design of the UI, saying we don't want to have to use a mouse. We want to be able to do everything from the keyboard, and mainly it was for speed, because the mouse is just slower than using a keyboard. So it was just I should be able to get anywhere on this screen using a keyboard, and we got it, and it worked. I mean, it makes it so much more efficient, because mouse is just slow. Ugh. It was when Windows really started to take over. Yeah. It was. See, Windows 95 came out in 95. Yeah, it was late 90. It was about 97, 98, I think, is when the vendor made the real move to Windows. Because he actually, the owner.
It is time to take a break.
The owner did not want to go to Windows. He really didn't.
Your next break is in 1 hour.
And his reason was basically what I just said, is because when using the mouse is slower for data entry. Staying on the keyboard is just so much more efficient, and he knew that, so he had no problem with our, But other people that were new to computers, because you got to remember, most people didn't know what computers were for the most part back in the mid 90s. Still, that's why Windows 95 came out, or was such a a boom to the computer industry, because it makes it easier for regular people to use, because mouse is so much easier to use than just the keyboard. But for those of us who had been working on computers for a number of years, even though, okay, we know what a mouse is and what it's capable of, but we really want to keep on the keyboard for data entry, because it's just so much more efficient. 98 SC was another watershed moment. Yes, 95, 98 SE, second edition, whatever it was. Yeah. Tab order was a point of emphasis on MS Access 97. Of course, you went back in the day. It infuriates me now when I now use a web page and the tab order is messed up now. Yes. I would just say yes. Anyway, I gotta take a break. I need to get up, stretch water, or stretch my legs, get some water, check on Mrs. Gimpy and the dogs, and we can continue this. I'm not playing a whole lot today, am I? I'm talking more than anything else, it feels like. I just noticed that. I'm not really playing. I'm talking more about shit than anything else. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you all very much for watching. Enjoy the dog video.